Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, at the start of another Jersey Quest franchise mode, and we are in NHL 23, as you can see, where it says Season 22-23 in the top corner. And this is much like the last one, which was the Steve Stais Islanders one. This is another one we have done in the past and failed to complete successfully. They were reattempting here now that we're back at skaters who hit 1,000, who played for the Islanders at some point in their career, who hit 1,000 games played in their careers. So if you kind of remember that the last time we did an Ottawa Senators Jersey Quest franchise on this game, you probably know who the player is and all that stuff, but just in case you don't, because that was a while ago, I will refresh your memory. So if you go into edit lines here, which I kind of already went into to make sure the coach kind of fit the player, at least he was he was a positive on the line that they're supposed to be on. That player is down here. It's Derick Brassard. So obviously he was an Islander for basically a single season. He was part of the first Eastern Conference Finals team in the bubble, and then left after that, I think, and signed. Was it with Ottawa? No, I think he went back to Philly after that. Let me go back down here. No, he went to Arizona. That's right. Okay, yeah. So he spent the singular season with us. Was in the first conference finals team. Then went to Arizona, back to Philly. Or it wasn't back to Philly. It was to Philly, and then to the Oilers, and then apparently back to the Senators because he was a Senator like in 2016 and 2018. That's right. Okay. So yeah, so he was a Ottawa Senator. Obviously, this 22-23, the last season of his career, in which he played 1,013 games. So he plays the 1,000th game, obviously, in that last season, which was on, if I go over here to my spreadsheet, it was on March 2nd, 2023, against one of his other former teams. Unfortunately, he was also a New York Ranger, but we pretend that doesn't happen. That never happened. But yes, he was a Ranger for a decent amount of his career, and he barely has a 1,000th game against them at Madison Square Garden on March 2nd. I'm pretty sure this is the game the Senators lost. If we go over here, no, they actually won. They won 5-3, so they won that game. And yeah, so it's in the Senators kind of new old style because it's like to mimic their style from like the 90s and like early 2000s, like away, but it's obviously Adidas era, and it's like pretty sick. Like I probably prefer the home, but the away is also cool. It's like the logo and everything on it's just cool. So kind of hyped for this. So hopefully this one will be a success. Actually, kind of found maybe a bit of a blueprint in the Steve Stais one because obviously, as I said, Derick Brassard played for the Ottawa Senators in 22-23, and that was it. He retired, even though technically, apparently, according to Wikipedia, he is returned to hockey, but he's like playing in like the Swiss League or something like that for some reason. So yeah, if he was 34 at the start of 22-23, it's been like 4 years almost. So he's probably at least 37. So that's kind of wild that he's still yeah, he's 38. Jeez, yeah, so that's like kind of crazy that he's still like unretired to play in the Swedish league or the Swiss league or whatever. So more power to him, I guess. But yeah, so he's probably obviously never planned coming back to the NHL, so you don't have to worry about that. So his 1,000th game was with the Senators here in the white jersey. So that's kind of that. So as I said, to kind of tighten things up here and kind of try and wrap up. So with the Steve Stais one we did last time, we kind of found a bit of a blueprint where, basically because we know like he only lasts one more year here, like he plays for the Senators this season, then retires, that we can basically just go all in, which might be a wee bit hard because I don't think the Senators have their first round pick this season because I think they spent it on the Alex DeBrincat trade like in the offseason prior to the season. So if we go to find trade and then go to draft pick, yeah, whoa, that is ugly. Yikes. Yes, we obviously don't have a first round pick for this season. Oh boy. But we do have like a handful of other ones, like the 2024 one. And like these other these picks are all garbage. Like they're worth basically nothing in the game. Because you see their value is basically identical. So yeah, they're worth like nothing. But we do have some first round picks and second round picks in later seasons that we can use. But if we go back to the edit line screen here, we're actually not that bad. Not that bad off. You also need I think mostly need like bottom 6 kind of guys, at least in the forward core. Because like these first 2 lines, you look at them, pretty solid. I'd say you got Brady Tkachuk, who's a +2 on the line fit, and he's got X factors. Then you got Timmy Stu, who's a +1 with X factors, and then DeBrincat, who's a -1, but he's got X factors, so kind of balances out. Gets you a +2. And then you got Giroux, who's a +1 with X factors. Josh Norris, who's a +2. And yeah, it's supposed to be a second line. If you look at them, yeah, right. First line forward, first line forward, first line forward. So this, like, yeah, first line solid right here. Claude Giroux, first line forward, but again, if we're stacking a little bit and he's old, we're going to stack him on the second line. Josh Norris, second line forward, so he's kind of fits here, needs a +2. And then you got Drake Batherson, also second line forward, and he's also a +2 with X factors. So these first two lines are like perfect, perfectly good. Like I could probably try and make them better, but like it's more likely than not, like it's not going to work out. The only one really I'd probably actually consider getting rid of, because these guys are all pluses, is Alex DeBrincat for someone maybe. But like I don't know who I would be able to get. Like I'd like so I might like shop around, look and see if I can trade DeBrincat for like a similar kind of style play, like right winger, first line winger who's got X factors and stuff. Maybe they'll not be a -1. But besides that, these lines are all good. And then look at the third line here. Shane Pinto, third line forward. He's got like a +4. He's basically perfect. He's good. Joseph is third line forward, and he's a +2, so he's also fine. But then like these, besides Derick Brassard, maybe. Julian Gauthier. Okay, if we swap him over, right? He says never mind. He's minor check flying. He was also an Islander, so I was like more inclined to keep him. But yeah, he's probably going back to the minors. So yeah, but Derick Brassard here, fourth line forward, he's a +1. So the coach is decent enough for him. And then Austin Watson is the fourth line forward. He's also a +1, so we might keep him. So we probably need, looks like, 2 forwards because Mark Kastelik is a yeah, like he sucks. Okay, so and he's also a center, so I don't like that. Just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, so we basically need like it's like 2 player, like a third line left winger and a third line right winger, which I could probably check the minor leagues. Who do we got? Oh, well, you're getting released, but yeah, so yeah, we don't have any options really. Okay, so yeah, not really any options. Okay, so we're going to trade for a third line and fourth line left winger, pretty much, and maybe if you want to try and upgrade an Austin Watson a fourth line right winger as well. But then defensively, oh boy. Okay, so Shabab, he's got X factors, so you could probably try and find. Oh, they're also both left defensemen, so it's kind of maybe if we put him on the second. There we go. That is more like it. So Jacob Chickering can go here. Shabak can go there because they're both top 4. Sanderson is also top 4, but he's also a lefty. That's a little awkward. But he can go down here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Okay, so that's good. Artem Zub. He's more top 6, but he really fits nicely, so we could probably stick him up there, I guess. And then Brandstrom and Holden are also these lines honestly are not that bad. So I guess it's like mostly a question of, I guess, maybe like finding an upgrade on Zub, because he's like definitely a top 6 guy, and these guys are also top 6. There's also yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting that like the thing goes down, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. But yeah, and then goaltending, I guess. Let's look at that real quick. Yeah, so maybe I think yeah, so I think Forsberg is not bad as a backup. Talbot as a starter, not really feeling that. So yeah, I might go see like splurge on a goalie and some like maybe a top like a top tier right defenseman with like X factors and stuff to go here. Whatever, Xbox. I don't care about the points. But yeah, so I think that's kind of going to be like in terms of this like refresh, like basically mortgaging our future to try and basically win this one season we have, is basically try to get rid of Zub or Brandstrom, and like yeah, so basically get a top pair right defenseman, and then a starting goaltender, and then like a third and fourth line winger. But yeah, the Senators actually missed the playoffs that season, 22-23. They finished with standings. They finished 6th in the Atlantic with 86 points, which was 6 points behind the Panthers, who had a wild card spot with 92 points. So yeah, not really that good. But I would have to say that we should be able to, like, as we improve the roster and stuff, like we should probably be able to improve on that. But yeah, so let's wrap up the intro here for now. But in a couple seconds, it'll be the 22-23 season recap, where hopefully I buy wisely and we end up winning the Stanley Cup in this first season. Okay, so here we are at the end of the 22-23 season. As you can see here, this strategy seems to be a winning one, as we have now also, after winning our last Jersey Islander Jersey Quest, we have also now won a successful Jersey Quest here at the Ottawa Senators, winning the Stanley Cup in 21 games. It was 21 games to get there. So I guess how did it all go down? Let's I guess get into it. So if you look at the regular season, see here we finished with a 45, 31, and 6 record, which was good for 96 points. I think that was what, a 10-point improvement. Yeah, 10-point improvement, which got us into the playoffs as the first wild card in the West, no, in the East. So it ended up coming down to like the second to last game of the season. I think we beat. I forget who we beat, but we clinched playoffs in the second to last game of the season. So it's a really tight playoff race for a lot of it, as you can see here. It's like if you go to the Metro, you can see the Flyers are 1 point behind us, and the Devils are 2. So it's definitely a very tight playoff race. There's the goals for and goals against per game. It was 3.284, 2.98 against, so like decent enough. There was a regular season points. I probably just like scroll through the entire roster here, and I can kind of go through, as I said, kind of input the same strategies from our Islanders BGM mode that we did, and kind of like basically brought in a bunch of. Actually, I think it did end up being a decent amount this time to kind of just like shape the roster for this like one season run push for the cup. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it seems to be working. So as we kind of scroll through, I'd like talk about players I brought in and kind of what I gave up to get them. But as you can see here, leading scorer is Tim Stützle with 33 goals, 53 assists for 86 points, which is a pretty solid total. There you go. Then here's the first trade. I ended up, I guess like in this game is a lot kind of easier to kind of figure it out compared to like BGM books. We have like the coaches and stuff, like in the line chemistry. So Alex DeBrincat was not fitting really on the first line, so I went out and traded him to the Anaheim Ducks for Troy Terry in a 2023 second round pick. So you see here Terry slotted in very nicely on the first line, 26 goals, 40 assists for 66 points. And then here we go. It was like one of our other trades. So it was kind of ended up being, I think, yeah, Zubin Brandstrom didn't really fit. And we kind of needed someone really to be like a kind of first line, first or second pairing kind of defensive on the right side. So I now got Colton Parayko from the Blues for Artem Zub in a 20, like I think, yeah, that like ended up trading away that second that we got from Anaheim to the Blues for Parayko. And we were 10 goals, 34 assists, 44 points. Pretty solid stuff. And here's another trade. So yeah, third and fourth line needed kind of players as we saw in the beginning. So Lawson Krause, got him from the Coyotes for Menton, who was obviously, as you know, part of the whole Hockey Canada thing. So that's why, he didn't really fit the timeline either, so I just got rid of him. So yeah, 13 goals, 24 assists, 37 points for Lawson Krause. And then here's Derick Brassard. So he was the Jersey Quest player, had a decent season on the fourth line, I'd say. 14 goals, 20 assists, 34 points on the fourth line is pretty solid stuff. And here's one of our, I think, yeah, no, second to last kind of skater trade. So we got AJ Greer from the New Jersey Devils, I think, for Julian Gauthier and a 2023 fourth round pick. So 16 goals, 5 assists, pretty solid stuff from him for the fourth line. Then our last skater trade was where is it? Derick Brassard and then 2 draft picks to the Jets, I'm pretty sure it was. No, it was the Leafs, never mind, 'cause you got traded to the Leafs from the Jets or whatever, I think, or from the Canucks. Jeez, I'm like mixing up seasons here. Yeah, but he was on the Leafs, yeah. So Brandstrom and 2 draft picks for Shen, 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points. Decent enough for a defensive guy. -7, not great, but ended up working out for us. Yes, that's all our skaters. And then if you go to goalies here, look at their stats. You can see here. So I ended up trading Cam Talbot and a 2024 second to the Isles for Varlamov, because they had him on the block, and I was like, Varley's on the block, I'll take him every day of the week. So it's for Varley in 2024 fourth. So he had pretty decent season here, 34 wins, 3 shutouts, 909 save percentage, and a 2.84 goals against. And then Forsberg as the backup had a pretty solid season as well. So in terms of the playoffs, if you go to the tree here, so round 1 we got the Rangers, who were kind of like our initial Jersey Quest rival because they were the team that, as I said at the beginning of the video, that Brassard played his 1,000th game away against the Rangers. So I played games 1 and 2 this series, which were 3-2 and 4-3 wins in overtime, and then simmed games 3 and 4, which ended up being wins as well, 3-2 and 1-0. So we ended up breaking out the brooms and sweeping aside the New York Rangers for the good of all mankind. And then basically we were going on like a greatest hits tour of Brassard's career, because obviously the two teams he spent the most time with were the Columbus Blue Jackets and the New York Rangers. So of course we played the Rangers in the first round and the Columbus Blue Jackets in the second round, which we won in 5. We won game 1, 2-1, game 2, 4-3. Columbus won game 3, 3-1. Then we won the next two, 3-2 and 4-3 to knock them out. And faced the eventual who made the Cup final the year of the Panthers, who ended up losing to Vegas in the conference finals. And the series played out basically the same exact way as the Blue Jackets won game 1, 2-1, game 2, 2-0. Florida won game 3, 3-1. We then won game 4, 3-2, and game 5, 6-3. So almost like identical series there, pretty much. It's kind of interesting. And then in the Stanley Cup playoffs, in the Stanley Cup final, we got probably what could have been was almost like one shot away from being the 2017. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's 2017 when Chris Kunitz broke Ottawa's heart. I'm pretty sure. 2017 Stanley Cup Finals. Ottawa Senators, Nashville Predators, a Matt Duchene derby, if you will, with Duchene on the Predators, and he was an ex-Senator. And this one went the distance. So Nashville won game 1, 2-1. They won game 2, 3-2. They then absolutely stomped us 8-1 in game 3. You thought that might be it for us, but we ended up tying the series up again with a 2-0 win. So nice bounce back in game 4. Nashville then took a kind of 3-2 series lead with a 4-3 win in game 5. And then game 6, we were able to pull out 3-2 win in overtime, I'm pretty sure it was. And then in game 7, 4-1 in order to win the Stanley Cup on home ice, which was nice. Which is interesting, because saying we were a wild card team, but I guess because our points total was 96 to their 87, we actually had home ice in game 7. If we go back out here, right? Go back out. Oh, it doesn't say. I'm pretty sure it was a home game. We had home ice. So it was nice. Let's look at playoff stats, I guess, quickly. As you saw there, Timmy Stu was our leading scorer in the playoffs with 18 points. And Derick Brassard had a pretty solid playoffs, I'd say. 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points. This is really solid stuff, I'd say. And a neutral, even 0 on the fourth line. Didn't really help, didn't really hurt too much, but I'd say 8 points is solid enough production, so I'll take it. And then if you look at Varley's stats, you can see here he obviously got pulled, I'm guessing, in the 8-1 loss in game 3 of the Cup Finals. But it was excellent otherwise. It's all 16 wins, 3 shutouts, which was the clincher against the Rangers in game 4. Game 2 again in the conference finals against Florida. And then game 4, the bounce back from the 8-1 defeat in the Cup final. So really solid stuff from him. And then looking at the awards, kind of interesting to show how quick we actually did the double unintentionally. The Belleville Senators won the Calder Cup, which is pretty wild. Yeah, so we won the Stanley Cup, President's Trophy. As you probably saw when we were looking at our division standings, Lightning had 114 points, which was a lot, so they won their President's Trophy. And then we played the Predators in the Cup final. So in terms of individual stuff, Austin Matthews, that yikes hairline there, was the leading scorer in the league with 109 points, and he won most of the awards. So he won the Art Ross, the Hart. Norris went to Victor Hedman of the Lightning. Lady Byng went to Kucherov, who finished third in scoring with 99 points. Calder went to Kent Johnson of the Blue Jackets. Conn Smythe went to Varley with those incredible stats. I also thought it might have been a mistake. So you see in the footage at the end, because it's the stats are from that little bit I played at the end to in order to be able to get the footage. But I was oh, maybe it's just a mistake. So obviously we didn't let any goals up in the last bit or whatever that I played, and that's why I got it. But no, his stats were, as you saw, excellent. So I'm not really surprised he got the Conn Smythe, because we didn't only have a point per game player. Vezina and the Jennings went to Vasilevsky, not really surprised there. Masterton went to Andrew Peeke, who he was on the potential list of candidates for the kind of third pair right defense slot when I was making trades and stuff, but I ended up going with Shen instead. Jack Adams went to Vancouver's coach. They finished with 100 points, which is second in the Pacific. Sulky went to Barkov, not really a shocker there. And then the Ted Lindsay and the Rocket also went to Austin Matthews. So I think we hit pretty much everything there. We got kind of through how we kind of got to the Cup finals. That pretty fun run. Sweeping Derick Brassard's greatest hits, playing the Rangers and the Blue Jackets, and then taking out the team that did make it to the final that year in the Senators and the Panthers, and then kind of like what could have been Stanley Cup final from like what would be now like math is bad 6 years ago now, but like would have been I'm so stupid. It's almost 9 years ago now. Yeah, 9 years ago, and then. Yeah, Jesus, I'm so bad at math. That was bad. But yeah, so from 9 years ago, and then going all the way to 7, which is pretty epic as well. So it was I think, kind of nice and dramatic season for us to lift the cup, and we were able to do so. And so, because this is a fun one where they introduced, I don't know if this is the game where they introduced it might have been, but the kind of cool thing where you get to pick like who gets to lift the cup and stuff. So you got guaranteed Brassard was able to lift it, so he went like first after Brady Tkachuk. I got the nice footage after the whole Steve Stais, and the last one was like disappeared and couldn't find him at the picture at the end, but yes, this was fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I think next up on the channel, that's a good question. I think it might be it might be, let me look here. It's the OG Assassin's Creed. What's up next? So that should be fun. I have played it before in the past, but it is a lot of fun and kind of open a lot of possibilities for us in the future with other games and stuff as well. But yeah, so as I said, like the second time, like a minute. Hopefully you enjoy this. Hopefully we'll check out the next Assassin's Creed playthrough as well. Thank you.
Performance. They were on this series, they were detailed, they laid out a plan, and they followed it as tightly as they could. They deserve to hoist them up. Comes the cup racer. I wonder who gets it first. Well, we never know, but it's always fun to see who gets to put it up first. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Here comes Cap to collect the cup. And for the very first time, you can only imagine the emotion coursing through him. He'll have the cup just like in his dreams. This moment here, Ray, he's finally done it. I think every hockey fan is happy for him here. I'm sure there were many times where he started to wonder, could this ever happen? Or is the sand going to run out before I get a chance? Look at how happy he is. Well, look who's getting a chance to hoist the cup. He was a brick wall for the last 2 months, Ray. Well, you can't win without goaltending. I mean, think of the last team that won with shaky goaltending. He's always the most important player on the team. He gets the Conn Smythe, and now he gets to roll with the Stanley Cup. Wow, this has got to be one of the great feel-good stories of this team. A rookie led the team in assists, Ray, and now hoisting them on. I think everybody wants to have a part of a Stanley Cup champion. You just don't know what your role is going to be. But to lead the team in assists, to be such a key contributor as a rookie is amazing.
The ceremonial team picture, I still think of Brian Trottier with the Penguins sprawled out after all those years of veteran.
So hard to get to.
Yeah.
He was so pumped even though he'd won 4 other ones with the Islanders.